Hey everybody, Questwise here, and today I just wanted to share something really cool that happened yesterday. I don't really play a lot of 5th edition, but 5th edition is huge. I just get that out of the way. No matter where you're at, no matter where you live, 5th edition is the king right now, right? 5th edition D&D is the king. And so a little bit of backstory. What had originally transpired is going to be what I was calling a mega one shot, where I was going to get a bunch of people together, 5 to 6 people together, and we were going to we're going to go to our friendly local game store, and I was going to set up a big table with 3D terrain, buildings, miniatures. We're going to do it all, right? One big, massive one shot that involved an urban adventure kind of thing. Life got in the way, and for several weeks it kept falling away, and people couldn't make it. So yesterday we had 2 people that had committed, and I said, you know what? Let's skip the mega one shot. Let's just show up at one of our local breweries here in town, who is very open and friendly to gamers. And I said, let's just wing something. I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and I said, let's just play something quick. So we arrived, the 3 of us. Another friend of ours. So it was myself and Russell and Kayatin. And when we arrived, another friend of mine, Stephen, was there, and he was there to actually do some writing work. And I said, you know what? If you're free, if you don't mind, jump on in. Let's play some D&D. It's been a while since I've played any D&D. It's been a while since anybody else has played any D&D. And so we got to the table. I had to make 5th level characters, which is a very sort of nice mid-level kind of thing. So while they were making 5th level characters, I decided that I was going to scrap my whole idea and I was going to use the Dungeon Master's Guide alone, with the help of the basic D&D Beyond app, to create an adventure on the fly. And what transpired was awesome. So I just wanted to point out something, that this Dungeon Master's Guide, and I've never really used this aspect before, but I really want to show you something that made this book shine for me yesterday, and it made me really want to dive deeper into this aspect of things. So in the book, in here, there is a section, and I believe it's on page 69, if I remember right. Yes, so Master of Adventures, part number 2, Master of Adventures, creating adventures, okay? I decided I was going to go completely out of this book. I was going to completely randomly create an adventure. And so I had the players create their characters. They created the characters, and we were going to kind of do this as a thing. I broke out a big old note card, and here's what happened. I simply went through here and I said, okay, we've got dungeon goals, we've got wilderness goals, and we've got other. I rolled a 1d3, I got a 3. We rolled on other goals, and here's what transpired. By simply rolling completely randomly out of the Dungeon Master's Guide, I came up with a full adventure, a full one-shot adventure, and it was brilliant. Now, sometimes these can be kind of hokey, right? Rolling on random charts, you're going to get some very strange combinations, but this worked out very, very well in conjunction with some of the players. So first thing we did is we rolled, and we had to seize control of a fortified location, and I let them choose between a city, a castle, or a ship. They decided to go to the ship because one of the players was playing a character that was a Triton, waterborne kind of thing. So we decided to make it sort of a waterborne adventure. I rolled aberration for the big bad guy, and it was bent on domination, and we pulled up, the first thing I pulled up was an aboleth. So we decided our big bad guy was going to be a young aboleth who was in charge of this ship. Our patron for the adventure was a temple official that we named Wallace, and what he wanted us to do was retrieve a religious idol. And again, this was all simply rolling on these charts. I rolled the patron, became a temple official. I rolled, what he wanted us to do for him. It was retrieve a religious idol, and we've decided as a group that it would be a petrified tentacle. And throughout the play of the game, we decided that the Triton character, who was also a paladin, he worshipped the god of the sea, but the god of the sea had a duality kind of view to it. On one side, it was the god of life and the ocean, and then the backside of that was this cult that said that the ocean was also violent and full of monsters and stuff as well too. So this petrified tentacle was something that they were both looking for. This cult, led by this aboleth, was looking for this idol in order to create a magical device, and this was the motivation, right? So again, rolled completely out of this book, completely randomly. The motivation was to construct a magical device, which I just called the God Forge. And we decided that the tentacle, the religious idol we had to get back, was a part of that thing that needed to be needed to complete this magical device. I also rolled what the climax of the adventure would be, and it would be a bloody battle to the finish. So we knew it was just going to be a big, brawl at the end of this adventure. The method behind the aboleth thing was a cult, so that's where we got the idea that this was the duality of the god, of this two-faced god kind of thing. And the weakness of our big bad guy was a mystical bargain that they had made with the god in order to construct this magical device. And so we had three characters. We had a Triton paladin, we had a goblin thief, and we had a dragonborn warlock. And they made a plan to assault the ship and did so. At one point, the goblin thief set off several casks of black powder and blew a giant hole in the deck of the ship. It was a great one-shot, and it lasted for about 2.5 hours or so. Fortunately for the players, and again, this was purely fate of how this played out, because the characters were actually built before we actually constructed any of the adventure part of this. The Triton Paladin had basically, he had all the right stuff. He had all the right skills and the right magic spells and everything to stand up against an aboleth, right? Against abominations and stuff. He was a powerhouse. And so the fight went a lot faster than I thought it was going to. And it went a lot in favor of the players, even though they did take some damage from things. Most of that damage was shrapnel from the giant explosion that the goblin had set off. But I just wanted to share this, and I just wanted to show that this was a really cool instance that happened. And if you're not playing 5th edition, and I'm sure most of you probably are, but if you're not, it's worth mentioning to take a look maybe at the Dungeon Master's Guide, either in a PDF or in physical form. Because this was really, really cool. This was a very, like I said, I had never done this before. I'd never just left everything to chance and played it by random rolls in the Dungeon Master's Guide. But this worked out very, very well, and I will definitely want to do this again. A lot of times now, I've found that, especially in the summertime here, it's hard to get a campaign going, but to be able to randomly generate a one-shot adventure straight from the book, right at the table, was a huge benefit, and it was really nice. We got the whole thing done, like I said, in a couple of hours. We had a couple of beers, a lot of great laughs, and some great adventure that really scratched that role-playing itch for me. And yeah, so definitely check this out. It was an amazing event, and a very, very good time, and I cannot wait to do this thing again. So until next time, I'm Questwise, and I am out.